What's up, you guys? It's Clinton here. Welcome again to another episode of Passive Investments. So today's topic will be talking about property investments. Nothing but property investment. You want to know more about property. If you want to know more about property, stay here, watch until the end of this video. So before we head into the topic, just make sure, guys, you smash the subscription button if you haven't already. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram. You can see the code there on the screen. Also on Facebook. Follow me, guys, so that you can get more information. I post pretty much every day there. Okay, guys, let's head into the topic of today. These are the people who buy properties for holding and also for flipping. Holding and flipping. So it's either you are a holder or you are a flipper. So a flipper is someone who buys a house in the aim of selling it in the future so that they can get the difference. Let's say, for example, they buy it for $500 US, and they sell it for $550 US. So they gain $50 US. That's the difference. So they gain $50 US. That's the difference. The other thing that you can do is to hold, buy and hold. When you buy and hold, these are the people that I want us to talk about today. We'll dwell much into these ones. So let's quickly talk about the flipping. The flipping is basically someone who has cash. You cannot buy a flipping house with a loan, with a mortgage, because a mortgage is a contract that you go into for 30 years or 40 years, depending on the lender. Now, in flipping, you need to come up with your own finance. You need to come up with your own money to provide a house. You must have cash. You must have cash for you to buy and flip. So let's go into holding, because I want us to talk about this one. Holding, these are the people that they buy house for rental purposes, receiving money for every month from their tenants. This is a good way to earn money passively. So that's why we call it passive income. We call it passive income because you make money while you're sleeping. It's basically that. It's basically that. You make money while you're sleeping. So there are two ways to buy property for rentals. Two ways to buy property for rentals. Let's head into it. The first way is to buy with a loan, a mortgage, or a bond. This is the first way. So buying a property with credit or a loan, in USA they call it a mortgage. In other countries they call it a bond, but it's basically one thing. It's basically one thing. So these are the people that buy a property using a credit. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages, pros and cons of each and everything that you do in life. We all know that there are advantages, disadvantages. Now let's talk about the cons, the disadvantages of buying on credit. Now, when you buy on credit, you don't own the house until you pay off the whole loan. If the contract of the loan said that you need to pay us a monthly installment of, let's say, maybe $300 US or $3,000 US or $5,000 US or $10,000 US, depending on the property, you must take note of this. You will never own the house until you pay off the amount that they've loaned you. If the period is 30 years, you will start owning the house. Will be yours after 30 years. But that doesn't mean you cannot utilize the house within that 30 years. You can lend it out. You can rent it out. You can do pretty much anything with it, because they don't care what you do with the house until you don't pay. If you don't pay now, they care. They will come running to you. So you need to make sure that you pay off the loan with those installments. Do not jump the installment. We'll go into that very, very soon. Okay, let's head into the second step. The advantages of rental properties are the following. Now, you must understand this. There is a lower upfront fee. Each and every need to come up with what? With an upfront fee. The bank will basically tell you that you need to give us at least 30%. Now, if the house is $500,000 US, now they will tell you to come up with what? With 30%. If you calculate 30% of 500,000, that's the amount that you should give the bank, so that they can give you the full amount. You see, so that you can go and buy the house. Basically that. Now you understand that instead of you keep popping out the whole 500,000, you pop out only the 30% or 50%, depending on the lender. The other advantage is that there are lower interest rates. Now, since you are paying off the house over a duration of 30 years, you should understand that now this enables you to pay lower interest. Otherwise, if there were higher interest, like maybe let's say 10%, 15% each and every month, the duration should have been lesser, should have been at least 8 years, or in fact, you can arrange with the bank for the duration to come down now. But normally the interest rate are lower because of the longer duration. The other advantage that you can have is leverage. Let's say you have 100,000 US dollars in your bank account, and you want to buy a house. You want to buy a house for rental purposes. You want to make your some passive income for yourself. Now, listen, it will give, getting a loan gives you a leverage like this. You have 100,000 in your bank account. Now you want to buy a house that you saw, which is 200,000. Which is 200,000. You don't afford it. You do not, because you only have 100,000 instead of 200,000. The house costs 200,000. You have 100,000. You do not afford the house. Since you don't afford the house, it means you need to go and lend money out. You need to go and lend money from where? From the bank. So the bank will ask you, do you have 20%? Do you have 20% of the value of the house? The house costs 200,000. So you should have 20,000 in your hands. So you go to the bank says 20% upfront. You say, yeah, I have it. You give them the 20,000 US dollars. Now, if you give them the $20,000, they will give you the full amount, which is okay. They will maybe tell you, they will give you 180 so that you can combine with that 200 with that 20, so you get the 200 and go and buy their house. But remember, you had 100,000 in your bank account. You are remaining with what? 80,000 US dollars in your bank account. Since you have 80,000 US dollars in your bank account, now you have the leverage of taking each and every 20,000 to go and buy 4 more houses. 4 more houses. It's simple as you. So now you have leverage to buy more houses and letting them out, giving you more leverage than a person who has 200,000, the whole of 200,000 cash and go buy their house. The person only get 1 house cash. So you see, it's better to buy a house using credit, because it gives you leverage. But you should be very, very clever. You should be very, very clever. You should know how to go about it. That's why we are having YouTube channels like these ones, to give you the knowledge, to make you aware of the knowledge before you can go and venture into property investment. Now I'm glad you know. Okay. The fourth thing is it increases your credit score. What do I mean by this? Like lenders, like, okay, the credit bureau, they assess our credit scores. When they assess our credit scores, they find that you have a mortgage, which you are paying each and every month. You are not missing any installment. You are paying each and every month. That actually boosts. And when they check, they find that you have a mortgage of 30 years, and you're owning 5, because you had 100,000. I'm still on that example of 100,000. You own 5 properties because of those 20,000. You are owning 5 properties. You are paying them upfront. Remember, for you to pay those mortgages, you have rental. You have got tenants which are paying you each and every month. So you basically have the money to pay off the mortgages, 5 of them. So it's simple like that. Now you have 5 mortgages which you are paying each and every month. The credit bureau, they assess your credit. They check that you are owning 5 property which you are paying properly. You are paying properly each and every month. So it actually boosts your credit score. And remember, to get money from the bank to buy other more 5 or 10 or 20 houses in the future, you need a better you need a very good credit score. So it actually works in your favor. Okay. The fifth thing that you will need, or rather that an advantage that it has, is that it is easy to increase the property value. What do I mean by that? You buy a house today, as you can see, this example here, this house here, this house, you can see that it's more like it's toned up, it's a mess now. So you see, the value of this house is obviously low. The value of this house is low. So if you renovate this house, you are actually lifting it up. You are actually giving its value. You are increasing its equity. So if you buy the house 60,000 and you renovate the house with 40,000, after renovation is beautiful. Now it has pools and it has everything. It means now the house its value has gone up. So you see, you're actually gaining either way. So it's fine like that. Nice. Okay, guys, let's continue. Now, after 30 years, you've paid off your mortgages, you've paid off everything. Now all the houses, all the 5 houses are yours. You are actually the money that used to go to the bank to pay off those monthly installment now is coming into your bank account. Now you are a 100% owner. You are chasing actually you are kicking out your lenders. You're owning the house 100%. Now you are a full investor in property. So guys, my advice here is that if you want to invest in property, go for a loan. Go for a loan. As long as you know that your credit record is good, also you know that you will maintain the credit record by paying off the installment exactly on the day of that you agreed with the bank, or even before, not after the date, before or exactly on the date. Do not miss the date. This is the trigger. Do not miss that. If you miss the date, you've done it wrong. You've done it wrong. But if you do not miss the date, you are good to go. You are good to go. So thank you very much, guys. Make sure that, guys, you click the subscription button if you haven't already. Feel free to follow me on Instagram and also on Facebook. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers, guys. Cheers, guys. Love you guys. Take care.